November 2025. A Turkish prison. Necati Arabachi is walking down a corridor. Paperwork signed. Release order granted. His lawyers have won. He's 30 feet from the gate when guards step in front of him. A higher court has reversed the decision, mid-release. He's escorted back to his cell. This is the fourth time Turkish authorities have arrested him, the fourth time a courtroom has processed his case, and the fourth time the cycle has reset. He was detained after a bar owner was gunned down in Bodrum, released. In 2018, picked up on an EU-wide warrant, released. In 2004, a German court sentenced him to 9 years for human trafficking, assault, extortion, weapons charges, and racketeering. He served 3, then walked. The prosecutor who built that case, he fled Germany the year Arabachi was deported. Some reports say he never came back. Right now, Arabachi has active warrants in Spain, Germany, and Interpol's system. He holds a leadership position in one of the most notorious outlaw organizations on the planet, and he has 15 million views on TikTok. The comments call him a legend. Fans line up for selfies when he steps out of a Rolls-Royce in Monaco. The algorithm never told them who he was. It didn't have to. To understand how a convicted trafficker became TikTok's favorite gangster, we need to go back to a nightclub district in Cologne, a place called the Köln Arena, and a business model built on controlling the doors. Missed the button? Go ahead, subscribe so you don't forget later. Cologne, Germany, early 1990s, the Köln Arena, neon lights, bass through the walls, lines wrapped around the block, and at every door, a man deciding who gets in. The bouncers weren't just security. They controlled who entered the VIP sections, who got close to the women, who spent money, and who got sent home. In Cologne's red light economy, that access was currency. One man understood this earlier than most. Necati Arabachi, 20 years old, born Valentine's Day, 1972, son of Turkish immigrants from Konya province. On paper, he sold fruits and vegetables. In reality, he worked the doors. He started at one club, then 2. Then he started placing friends at other venues. His guys, his rules. By the mid-90s, the name Arabachi clan was circulating through Cologne's underworld. Not a family, a network. Bouncers loyal to one man, positioned across the Kölner Ringe. They weren't just checking IDs, they were recruiting. Young women, some local, some foreign, approached inside the clubs, befriended, promised work, money, opportunity, then moved. Babylon in Elsdorf, Wiago in Leverkusen, brothels across the Rhine-Ruhr region, Frankfurt, Augsburg, as far as Majorca. This was infrastructure, and infrastructure this size doesn't stay invisible forever. But running an operation like that requires more than charm. It requires fear, protection, a brand that makes competition think twice. Arabachi found that brand in the late 1990s, a motorcycle club founded in Fontana, California in 1948, chapters across dozens of countries, a reputation for violence, drug trafficking, and territorial control. The Hells Angels. What Arabachi did next changed everything. Joining the Hells Angels wasn't simple. Prospects spent years earning trust, running errands, proving loyalty, taking risks. Arabachi did all of it, and by the time he patched in, he had something most new members didn't, an existing operation. The Hells Angels gave him muscle. He gave them revenue. With the club behind him, Arabachi's reach expanded fast. Club owners who had hesitated now cooperated. Rivals went quiet. His bouncers spread across the Kölner Range, dozens of clubs, all feeding the same pipeline. Women recruited from the nightlights, moved into brothels, controlled through debt, dependency, and fear. German police knew the name. The Arabachi clan appeared in intelligence reports throughout the late 90s. But knowing and proving are different things. Witnesses didn't talk. Evidence disappeared. Cases stalled. Every failed investigation made him bolder. Meanwhile, Arabachi kept climbing. Inside the Hells Angels, he built a reputation. Loyal to the patch. Brutal when necessary. Smart with money. His network expanded beyond Germany. Connections to Hells Angels chapters in Denmark. Alleged involvement in heroin trafficking routes through Turkey. By 2000, Arabaci wasn't just a Cologne figure. He was operating across borders, multiple countries, multiple revenue streams. That kind of expansion attracts attention. German authorities had been watching for years. In October 2002, they finally moved. The raids hit at dawn. Police moved on multiple locations simultaneously. Brothels, apartments, club offices, anywhere connected to the Arabaci clan. Necati Arabaci was in handcuffs by morning. The charges? Trafficking women across Germany, running brothels from Cologne to Mallorca, assault, extortion, weapons violations, racketeering. Prosecutors had wiretaps, financial records, tracing money through shell companies. Witness statements from women who had been moved through the pipeline. The case ran hundreds of pages. In 2004, Arabaci stood trial. His lawyers fought. The evidence was overwhelming. Then Arabaci confessed. The sentence, 9 years. German media gave him a title, Rotlicht Pate, the red light godfather. For most people, that would be the end. But Arabaci wasn't most people. From inside his cell at Bochum prison, investigators believe he continued running operations. The Colosseum brothel in Augsburg reportedly stayed under his control. His people on the outside kept recruiting, kept moving women, kept generating revenue. Prison didn't stop the business. It just moved the office. Then Arabaci made a decision that should have guaranteed he never saw daylight again. He allegedly ordered a hit on the prosecutor who convicted him. The method: an Albanian contract killer out of Duisburg. Payments discussed through intermediaries. Logistics confirmed. The prosecutor had no idea he was a target. But German police did. They had bugged Arabaci's visiting room. Every conversation recorded. Every instruction captured. Prosecutors filed for Sicherungsverwahrung, indefinite detention for extremely dangerous criminals. If the charges held, Arabaci would die in prison. No parole, no release date, no second chance. The trial began. The evidence, recordings, the hired killer, a clear chain of command from prison cell to street. Then Arabaci's defense attorneys challenged the translations. The wiretaps were in Turkish. The transcripts had been converted to German by a court translator. Buried in those translations, errors, words that shifted meaning, phrases that changed context. Everything hinged on whether the court believed the transcripts. The defense argued the translations were unreliable. The court agreed. Arabaci was acquitted of the murder plot charges. 2007. After serving 3 years of his 9-year sentence, he was deported to Turkey. The prosecutor who built the original case, according to Focus, he left Germany that same year. Multiple reports indicate he never returned. The man who put Arabaci away had to abandon his own country. Arabaci got a fresh start. Turkey doesn't extradite its own citizens. Arabaci had a passport. He had protection. He settled in the coastal resort towns, Çeşme, Bodrum, Kuşadası, opened entertainment venues, built a local presence. But the real play was happening inside the Hells Angels. 2010, Izmir, a gathering of international Hells Angels leadership. Necati Arabaci, appointed president of Hells Angels MC Nomads Turkey. A convicted trafficker, deported from Germany, now leading a national chapter. 3 years later, the opportunity expanded. 2013, Spain. Frank Hannebuth, the most powerful Hells Angels figure in Europe, arrested in a massive police operation. A power vacuum at the top. Arabaci was positioned to fill it. By 2015, Spain issued an EU-wide arrest warrant. Organized crime, extortion, drug trafficking, operating brothels. The warrant is still active. But here's what matters. Everything I just told you, the trafficking, the brothels, the prosecutor who fled. The rise to European Hells Angels leadership, the murder plot, the warrant. None of it appears in the TikTok comments. 15 million people watched Arabaci step out of a Rolls-Royce in Monaco. They called him a legend. The algorithm didn't tell them who he was. It didn't have to, because nobody asked. A prosecutor builds a case for years, gets the confession, secures the conviction, and has to flee his own country. Arabaci serves 3 years and walks free. If that doesn't sit right with you, hit subscribe. We don't let these stories disappear. Somewhere between 2020 and 2024, Necati Arabaci became content. The videos started surfacing on TikTok, then Instagram, then YouTube Shorts. Arabaci in Monaco, Arabaci in Dubai, stepping out of supercars, surrounded by an entourage. The hashtags: billionaire, mafia boss, luxury life. He doesn't look like what you'd expect. No leather vest, no visible patches, no biker aesthetic. Tailored suits, long hair slicked back, watches worth more than cars. He looks like a tech founder, someone you'd see in a business magazine, not a wanted poster. The violence is invisible. The trafficking is invisible. The warrant is invisible. The only signal is the wealth. And the algorithm? It only sees the engagement. TikTok's algorithm measures what people watch, what they like, what they share. It tracks how long you stay on a video, then it serves more of what kept your attention. Luxury content performs. Danger content performs. The combination is optimized for virality. 15 million people watched him step out of a Rolls-Royce. 15 million people hit play. The algorithm doesn't run background checks. It doesn't cross-reference Interpol databases. It asks one question: do people watch? 15 million people answered yes. A media psychologist described it this way: there's a fascination with figures who live outside normal rules. The lifestyle becomes aspirational because the crimes feel abstract. Meanwhile, the comments fill with fans asking where to meet him, asking what he does, asking how to live like him. The algorithm serves the surface. We consume the surface. The truth disappears underneath the engagement metrics. The algorithm didn't make Arabaci famous on its own. It responded to us. Every view is a data point. Every like is a signal. Every share extends the reach. Every comment feeds the system. To the platform, a convicted trafficker and a lifestyle influencer are the same thing: content that keeps you watching. We trains the algorithm. Every time we watch without asking who we're watching, we become part of the machine. But while the algorithm kept serving, the physical world kept turning. The warrants never expired. In 2025, someone finally caught up. September 9th, 2025. Nitra, Slovakia. Arabaci is eating dinner with relatives, a quiet restaurant, a weeknight. 12 armed police officers come through the front door. He's detained on a warrant flagged through the Schengen information system. Germany wants him. Spain wants him. Interpol has his file. But Slovak law has a gap. The specific charges don't allow them to hold him for deportation. He's given 30 days to leave voluntarily. Arabaci flies to Belgrade, then to Izmir. October 5th, 2025. Turkish organized crime unit officers are waiting at Adnan Menderes Airport. This time he doesn't lock. October 8th. Formally arrested. Charges: establishing a criminal organization, aggravated extortion. Turkish media covers it extensively. Cehennem Necati. Hell's Necati, in custody on his home soil. For weeks it looks like the cycle might break. Then November. A Turkish court reviews the detention. Arabaci's lawyers argue for conditional release. The court agrees. Release order granted. Arabaci begins processing out. Paperwork completed. Exit procedures underway. He's walking through the prison corridors, heading toward the gate. The prosecutor files an immediate appeal to a higher court. But appeals take time, and Arabaci is already moving. 30 feet from the exit. 20 feet. The reversal comes through. The higher court overturns the release, orders continued detention. Guards step in front of him. He's escorted back to his cell, rearrested mid-release, stopped before he reached the door. That's where he is right now, a Turkish prison, but the pattern holds. 2018, arrested on the EU warrant. Released. 2020, detained after Ahmet Atik was gunned down in Bodrum. That shooting happened August 14, 2019. Atik was a bar owner, walking home after closing. Gunmen opened fire at his front door. He was hit in the back, fought for 13 days, then he died. 5 members of Arabaci's faction were arrested. Turkish prosecutors alleged Arabaci ordered the hit. A dispute over control of Bodrum's nightlife. He was detained, questioned, released, arrest, process, release, reset. The system catches him, the system can't keep him, and the content keeps coming. Even now with Arabachi in a cell, the videos circulate. Old clips resurface. Fan accounts repost. Edits rack up views. The algorithm doesn't know he's in custody. It wouldn't change anything if it did. Engagement is engagement. The machine keeps running. As of now, Necati Arabachi remains in Turkish custody. The November 2025 rearrest held. The higher court's reversal stands, but the architecture that's protected him for 18 years is still intact. Turkey doesn't extradite its citizens. The EU warrant can't touch him as long as he stays within Turkish borders. Spain, Germany, Interpol, they have paper. They don't have jurisdiction. The physical justice system has him in a cell. Whether it can keep him there is a different question. The algorithm doesn't pause. It doesn't wait for court decisions. It doesn't care about warrants or convictions. It serves what performs. Necati Arabachi performs. Even from prison, his content circulates. His name trends. His image keeps appearing on phones across the world. 15 million views, and counting. The women who went through the Arabachi clan's pipeline don't have TikTok accounts. The ones recruited from the Kulna Ringa, moved through Babylon and Wiago, exploited across the Rhine-Ruhr region, Frankfurt, Augsburg, Mallorca. No fan pages, no hashtags, no comments calling them legends. Silence. The prosecutor who built the 2004 case left Germany the year Arabachi was deported. According to multiple reports, he never went back. The man who won the case lost his country. The man who lost the case has 15 million followers. That's not a glitch. That's the system working as designed. We built platforms that optimize for engagement. We trained algorithms that serve what we watch. We created an economy where attention is currency and context is optional. Necati Arabachi understood that before most people had heard of TikTok. He didn't hack the algorithm. He recognized what we're willing to watch. Luxury without explanation, wealth without context, power without accountability. We'll watch anything as long as it looks expensive. We'll engage with anything as long as it doesn't force uncomfortable questions. We'll share anything as long as we don't have to know where the money came from. The prosecutor is still in hiding. The women he trafficked have no platform, and Necati Arabachi has 15 million views and a comment section full of fans. He's in a cell right now. But the system that protected him for 18 years is still intact. Turkey still doesn't extradite. The algorithm still serves what performs. The warrants are still just paper. The only question left is whether this time is different. And if you've been paying attention to this story, you already know the pattern. And if you made it this far, you're the reason we do this. Hit that bell. More cases are coming, and the truth is always darker than the fiction.